Hi, Scorpio. Can you hear me? All right, welcome to this place. Welcome back if you're returning. Okay, so this is a 6-month review or 6-month forecast. The intention, and I guess inspiration, I just wanted to tell everybody, it came from the eclipse cycles that we are now within, and the next 6 months is kind of a bridge. You've talked about this many times, actually. Oh God, Scorpio, I am so thankful for you. I mean, I can't speak for all Scorpios, but I know that's, I'm not meaning to make it a generalization, but because we tap into, you know, we pick up all the telephones of the zodiacs, but I feel like whenever we connect the Scorpio line here, you teach such great lessons, you know, to the world. I mean, you're also teaching yourself, you know. I go back, most of the Scorpio readings come true for me, you know, or like, it'll hit me later, you know, because to me, all the fixed signs, especially you, so psychic, but it's like you have such a deep knowing, but you can't, it's almost like sometimes you can't trust yourself, right, in the situation, or you don't know why you're doing something, but afterwards, you're like, oh, that's why I did that, or oh, that's why that happened, and it's a happy feeling, you know, but in the moment when you made that decision that had to do with that thing at the end where you're like, oh, totally, I'm so glad I did, you know, you don't know in the beginning. It's like a test of faith, I guess, a test of yourself, of trusting yourself, trusting your connection to spirit, to your own spirit, and how you make decisions, you know. So Jupiter is also following this line. Jupiter goes retrograde on the 9th, and it's actually in a really beautiful position, even though it's opposing you. It's still positive, and Venus is playing a really nice, like, connecting really nicely, like, when that happens. And not to make it too complicated, but after we go through this 6-month process, this eclipse to eclipse, and Jupiter retrograde, then after that, Venus goes retrograde. So it's like things are sort of trading places. Let me touch on a few more astrological bits, and then we're going to look at your cards, okay? So this eclipse to eclipse time, this 6-month process, you start in your 11th house. And that was a solar eclipse, right, on the 2nd. So solar to me is usually something outside of you. It's something usually having to actually do more with society than it is the internal. Like, you think of a lunar eclipse as, okay, this has to do with me, this is internal work, this is shadow work, etc. When it's a solar eclipse, it's like, again, it's external. We can learn lessons that way. Obviously that can reflect back very easily, because when we eclipse, the sun and the moon are together, we're kind of like folding the map, right? We're taking the burrito and we're making we're taking the tortilla and making a taco, you know? So you get a better grip on something, you end up getting a better grip on something. Remember, 11th house is your communities that you're a part of. It's your bigger friend circles. It's the homies you learn with, right? And it's also working towards your bigger dreams and wishes, things you've been putting, not just thinking about, but like putting, because there's a lot of steps before. If 11th house is, these are my dreams and wishes coming true, and the people that will help you make it happen, you have to go from 1 all the way to 11 to get it there. So I'm guessing a lot of you have worked really hard to be in this place, you know, and I want you to be proud about that, happy about that. I heard, of course, I keep seeing a snake and a rose. Oh, there's a rad tarot deck. What is that tarot deck? That deck is so powerful. It's like really, really simple. It's mostly plant medicine. Maybe some of you are getting more into that, but it's like more plant medicine. Learning from these soft things, you know. I mean, roses have thorns, but it's a very delicate, loving thing. And trust is so hard, right? To trust other people, to trust ourselves. So you could look at those houses, because 5th house is your creativity. Maybe some of you are at the 5th house right now, looking over there. Some of you are in this 11th house looking at there. But this also has to do with your children. And the groups that you're a part of, if you're looking for dating and or more fun and creativity and being inspired in that way, this could also be, again, the groups that you're a part of, but it's also the one-on-one, you know, when you're at like a party or again, like in a group of people, and there always ends up being these like 2 people talking. Maybe there's a third, but they're listening, you know, because 3 people can't talk at once. Really, 2 people can't talk at once. We have to take turns. But those kinds of one-on-one conversations within the circle, the larger circles that you're a part of. Again, and I saw someone on a telephone. So maybe it's just connecting more, even if those people are far away, or being a part of groups and things like that that aren't necessarily like always physically there. Your 7th and your 9th house also came up when I rolled the dice, as well as the sun. So maybe you want to put the sun in your 7th house or your 9th house. I could also see that this is positivity and like in relation to other people and how that connects to spirit or how other people and the lessons that are now being taught through that. This is more positive. This is people that have their own self-authority, people that are responsible, people that are trustworthy. I mean, the sun is very serious. If we take it as Leo, it's like, oh, it's fun and it's light, and it's true. But to me, sun energy always feels strong. I guess I have Pluto conjunct the sun, so it kind of changes it a little bit. But, and I don't know what aspects your sun in your map that may give you an extra extra layer there. I guess sun in the 7th could be a little bit of, sometimes that can show where, and again we're talking about over the next 6 months, just little lessons throughout, but sometimes sun in the 7th, although positive, can make interactions with other people sort of energetically draining. If you think about a king, usually we picture them, or they are pictured like on their throne, like alone in a room, right? The king sees people, but it's like, okay, the messenger comes in, says something, they interact, and then the messenger leaves, the king's alone again. The king can't always like be out and about, everybody trying to get his attention. You know, it'd be too draining because there's other things, pardon me, that need to be figured out. So 2 things is watch your energy, perhaps with other people, like just acknowledge, maybe this is just practicing boundaries, you know, no big deal. Pardon me. Get it out. You could also be playing a leadership role in relation to other people. This is also allowing other people to lead, especially if you're in a relationship. Giving other people the authority at times, right? You tell the knight that they need to go do this, or the alchemist needs to go make this herbal concoction. You trust that they'll do that. If you've also felt like you've been hidden from other people, or you know when you feel invisible, or you just for some reason it's like not necessarily connected, you're kind of hiding away. I get it. It's like it's shedding time, right? You're technically, as I'm recording this, you're kind of in a resting period. It's like right before the bear wakes up, right? Because it's about to be your birthday. Sun in the 9th house is actually exalted. Oh, we're not ready for that yet. Okay. I see the words again, self-authority. Okay. Let's see what Zumi has to say for Scorpio as an advice for the next 6 months. What do you got to say, Zumi? What do you want to tell us? Wisest soul I've ever known. Kindest soul I've ever known. Integrity. It's funny, this is actually a Zumi. Can you see that little? That's a Zumi hair. And confusion. Okay. So sometimes a person loses their integrity, suspicion. Gemini had that card undercurrent too. Sometimes when the moon is big, I don't know if it's specifically a full moon or the moon, you're Scorpio, so anything you have in Scorpio, when the moon is in Scorpio, it's going to highlight all these things. So sometimes over the next 6 months, I keep seeing it. It's just like someone, how do you lose your integrity? How does a person lose their integrity? Oh, okay. Can we just talk this out? So there's this flower here, right? It's an iris. It's an iris. Yellow one. Yellow flowers. So, man, hold on a second. Why? The way I'm seeing this is this flower as a structure had the integrity of the building, right? The integrity of this, if we take it like that, it's almost like we're talking about structure, right? This plant is integral. It's holding its own position and its own space, right? Kind of like that sun energy we're talking about. Or in the 11th, like in the groups you're part, something's holding its own space. But as the seasons change, and sometimes this is even monthly, because we're talking about the moon and the phases and how things go from new to right, seed to death, right, birth to death. It happens every month. So maybe we're talking about some of your cycles, be aware of cycles of things. But I guess the question would be is, do you feel like if this flower obviously has integrity, good integrity, if this flower was to die, does it lose its integrity? Like if it changes its shape, do you feel like, I think that's where the confusion comes in, and it's just like, well, this is changing shape, it's not holding integrity. And so a person sometimes feels like, I can't change, I'm not supposed to do anything. If you're uncertain, please wait and or pay attention to the moon. Maybe even just having a moon calendar could be helpful. You know, like I realized recently when a Libra moon comes for me, and this has changed through time. It used to be the phases. Now it's getting a little bit more detailed. Like I'm finding different avenues of smaller things that are helpful for me to understand like more of myself. And like particularly, say over the last like 6 months, I was like, oh, when Libra moons come, I'm kind of like not feeling it. And for Scorpio rising, actually, that would be your 12th house, which is kind of, you know, it's an uncomfortable house. So, point of the story is, if you don't know and you're unsure about something's integrity, I heard give it a beat. You know, I heard let those other musicians start playing, and then you decide whether you want to join in with that or not. So some of you are observing, and then potentially that this is how you'll try something, or know when to not join something if you're wanting to join with it, participate with it. Pardon me. And if you're unsure about other people's integrity, again, for some of this could be like, I don't know, again, dating or friendship or groups. Again, it doesn't matter. However this human to human interaction is, just watch what they I heard watch what they say, because the Virgos taught us, right, that the mouth speaks what the heart knows. Because I think sometimes you might feel like a person feels like they're wilting. They're like, oh man, it's okay, we're going to this next stage. And I saw it just as something molting. But it's not actually there yet. So some of you are like or maybe you're like me. Are you like a pre-griever in ways of change? Where like you start tapping into things and you're like, I don't really know why I feel, oh, didn't we talk about this in the beginning? It's like, I don't really know why I feel like this, but it's strong. It's confusing me. I can't quite see like what I could see before. I heard, what am I supposed to do? I heard again, give it a beat. Maybe some of you music could be very helpful. I also see somebody like rubbing their feet. Pedicure, reflexology, something in this realm. Huh. If we're taking integrity as our ethics or like moral position, don't be confused by that. Some of you, if you could, when we said lose integrity, it depends where you're at. Maybe we're talking about back in the day. But this is one of those things where like a person maybe has lost their integrity in the evenings. Like they made bad decisions in the evenings. Maybe they got drunk and did something they didn't want to do, or they called somebody or texted somebody late at night. It's one of those things where, again, we're in the moon energy and we can't see right. So I heard, just don't react. Maybe you're not supposed to make any decisions at nighttime over the next 6 months. You know, decisions that things where it connects to other people. Is that the... So maybe this is a celibate time for some of you too, or it's more of, if you are involved romantically, it could be like where there's space there. Maybe someone's going through something spiritually, or again, I saw something molting. So this is a healing time for you. And this card is very sun-like, and here's the moon, and we're kind of talking about this eclipse energy. But it goes, the way that it seems to be is it's going this way, right? We start out with that in autumn, and then we go the 6 months till the spring, right? So there's definitely something really beautiful that happens as we move forward. And actually, this is a 6, too. I don't know if you can see that. I made them so there's a lot of, like, little hidden things in here. So I guess you also understand things that other people don't. Emotion. Which is the 2 of Cups. So again, this is, okay. So relationships become better, and I guess they could be tested a little bit. This is a collective thing that's happening right now. Jupiter square Saturn, we could go on, but it's like testing the integrity of our relationships. Like, what are they outside of the surface, or like, what are they when we strip it down? You know, when we simplify it. Like, what is love, maybe? And I guess there's an emphasis, Zumi's saying to please trust yourself, Scorpio. A couple other signs talked about this, but let's take note of it, because maybe it was Libra, actually, your neighbor. Every emotion we've ever had, right? Every feeling we've ever had, probably even almost any experience, we've already felt that before. Mad, sad, ecstatic, right? Passionate, horny, whatever. It doesn't solemn, depressed. It doesn't. We felt all the things, right? And through different ways. Oh, we felt like this when we were connecting with family. Oh, we felt like this when we were connecting with those we're sexually involved with. We're connecting with this in the spiritual ways, like our children, however, neighbors. It's like it's worked through all these different points. So that means that no matter what is happening now, you have so much experience. And I guess how we get into integrity is talking about, it's the wisdom of it, right? How do we use that experience? So it's kind of like a test, but this doesn't seem, again, I feel like this is collective, but it's coming through you, where it's like, this test is soft and within. It's like maybe a test of all the shadow work you've been doing, say over the last 2 to 6 years. I also see when someone was 2, when someone was 6 or 7, 13, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. That's Aries, right? The other Mars adjustment. Okay. 1967, when you're 26, 27 years old. Oh, 2006 or 2007 to 2013. Okay. Let's choose a few more cards. Thank you, Zumi. Strength in the Ten of Wands, you can do anything. You can do anything. Just get all chilly when I said that. It wasn't a sharp moving. It was like a wave, a soft wave of power, of electricity. Mostly through the legs. So I heard we're talking about strengthening. Yeah, I think the majority of the lesson as you walk this bridge is just saying, like, watch your energy. You know? Again, because sometimes strength is, I can't do that. I won't do that, possibly. I will not. I cannot. It reminds me of the lesson, this big wise epiphany I had with myself one time. Thought I was real smart when I figured it out. when put it together, it was like, oh, wait a second. I think I was relating this to dating particularly, but it doesn't matter. I was like, just because something is, okay, say something's difficult and I can handle that. You know, like, all right, this is some shit. This is pretty intense. This is over. It's extra. And it's like, yeah, can I handle that? Yeah. But do I have to? No. No, I don't need to continue to test myself to see, like, I don't need to continue to test myself constantly in a way of everything being overwhelming. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Could have a lot of power in your job right now. If you've been doing your job for a while, or there's a lot of responsibility there, that's also wanting you to balance work, work, home life, a bit better. You know, especially this big moon causing the confusion, it would definitely be like good sleeping over the next 6 months. Maybe some of you need a new mattress, or like, I don't know, I just saw a pillow where someone had like a lot of dreams, or like, even if you've been having a lot of nightmares, maybe some of you want to wash your bedroom pillows. Most people don't wash those pillows, or maybe you need new pillows. All right, some of you can just make one. I'm seeing a red notebook, and then the parts of fortune. So that's your sun, moon, and rising sign. So maybe you want to watch all three of those. Will give you a more full perspective of well, I heard knowing how powerful you are. Don't doubt your ability at your job, okay? Wherever it is that you put in energy in that connects to the public, don't doubt that. You know, it connects to other people beyond you. It's like a chain. I heard a chain effect. Maybe you'll wear more hats, too. This confusion card, also, I'm looking down at this is kind of like a little parasite. Maybe there's some kind of cleanse there. I mean, you rule over the colon, you know, that's a really important, you're the space where we release after we've taken in everything that we can. You give the vessel for releasing it, right? That's in everybody's body. That's our responsibility, right? That's why I think a lot of men, well, beyond the slow, as I call the slow poisoning, like a lot of men have prostate cancer, or they try to say that men have high prostate, this and that. It's just like, it's to me, it's an emotional block, but of course men have that. You know, women cry when we're drunk because we release the most toxins out of our tears, right? Men hold it together, they just take a lot of pisses. There's differences. So if you're a woman, I heard, don't act like a man. You don't need to act like a man. You don't have to protect, even what we're doing, it's like you don't have to protect yourself. Like, remember, it's about trusting. And I guess it is a person stepping into their power, but it's like suiting to how they were created and how they are now. Okay. I want to choose, for some reason I want to choose. Let's do the Carpe Diem. Doesn't that mean seize the day? Right, today. What stayed in the box? Wow. This is Gaina. It's 28 Aquarius. It says, you are touched by the wings of the bird of love, bringing you happiness and love and seduction. Well, I heard again, what is love? What's this one? Well, now we're in a 29-degree Scorpio. So what are we talking about with this? This is Chiron. It's the Swan in Chiron. So the swan in the constellations in the sky is, one of the stories is that the swan's actually like upside down, flying upside down. It got put into this, most of the stars that got put into the sky are because they did something wrong. Did you know that? Like Cassiopeia, the queen, like she flirted, or one of Neptune's wives supposedly thought that she flirted with Cassiopeia, so that little nymph, little sea nymph, like put her in the stars to so she couldn't be with like near her man. It's interesting we're bringing this up, but the point is if this swan, which is this Ganeya, well, I guess in ways of love and sexual energy, there's already been mistrust enough. Again, we've already been through things, right? We know where we are now. And it's okay that things didn't work out in the past, right? This says wrong time, wrong place. Keep away or you may lose your head. That's a Taurus star too. But you've already done that, you know, so it's almost like you might have to have this kind of conversation with yourself if you get too confused about the way that things are now and what's going on now. Because again, all of you here are so advanced. You're so advanced. It's like you're getting your third PhD in life, you know. But I do sense that there's a bit of it where it's like, okay, now we're out of school, right? We're going to practice this. And then I look down, oh, fascinating. So this is, we have Capella here. So when Jupiter, I guess we'll do this as a closing note because we're kind of just, I feel like we could keep flowing, but I got to pull the line back in and ground myself. But Capella, as these, from this eclipse to eclipse, and as in the beginning, Jupiter again goes retrograde. When it does, it's connected with Venus, and Capella is a star involved with that. And Capella is a very beautiful, benefic energy. It's a very nice star in the stories, right? Not all the stars are you fuck somebody over, you're being punished ultimately, but there are a lot of them. But this says, heaven sends you prosperity, wealth, trust, and protection. And that also comes through your eminent friends. Like these, again, that 7th house, the 9th house, it's the 11th house. This is, even the 5th house is dating, is fun, is sports. It's like, these are all houses where we are around other people. So you're meant to do that, but again, you just have to watch how much and when so that you don't lose sight of something. Like take some space from it, but I heard please don't. We talked about that cool isolation. There's another lesson you taught us, right? Karmically speaking, we can't just isolate and be hiding in our cave. I mean, back in the day, there were monks that would do that, but they had to be around those other monks. You know, it's very rare that I guess there's truly a hermit. And I guess even then, the hermit is around a bunch of animals, right? It's still doing it. It's just in different ways. Hi, Raven. Okay. Hi, Raven. Maybe some of you have this star. You should look at this. Regulus is one of the royal stars. It's Leo energy. It says this is the most royal star out of the 4. They're all in the fixed signs. It says this royal star is shining above you, which for you would be a square. So this is hard for you to hard for you to feel, and like sometimes it's hard for you to feel, but this is always here for you. It says this star is promising utmost success and great honors. Rule wisely to preserve your achievements. And I just saw where Saturn was trining something, and this is try not to drown in the sea of problems that you face when you do. Because all of a sudden, if you wait, right? If you just wait, right? Give it a beat, then all of a sudden, whatever that like ill feeling was, it goes away. Okay. Nice. We're gonna close like this, especially for the singles, or maybe just love us as luck and love are on your way. Stick to common sense and don't let your moods overwhelm you. That's Alpha Rats. Alpha Rats is 14 Aries. Alpha Rats. Let's read that again. Luck and love are on your way. To me, that's not even that it needs to catch up with you. It's already there. It's already on you. So stick to common sense and don't let your moods overwhelm you. All right, we'll leave it like that. I love you, Scorpio. I hope this was helpful, fun. Helped you confirm some things or settled some things. We'll talk more too about the Jupiter square Saturn, which is also happening during this time frame, but I want to do a whole separate thing on that. It's too many layers at once. I feel like it would, plus it would be a pleasure to do that anyway, and it's a pleasure to always connect with you. Thank you, Scorpio. I always feel comfortable with you. You know, I never feel like you're going to judge me. Okay. Take care.